Interest-free. Conditions apply. The time by Sagicor Bank is...
It is now 7 o'clock, and it's now time for the Morning Watch.
Listeners to Love 101 FM are advised that the views and opinions expressed in this program are not necessarily those of Love 101 FM.
Hello and welcome to the Morning Watch on Love 101 FM. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. A special welcome to our listeners on love101.org. And if you're overseas and on the move, US listeners can access us at 712-832-8001. And if you're in the UK, 0330-332-6541. Or join us via the Love 101 FM app that can be downloaded from the Google Play Store or the Apple Store. You can also join us on Love 101 FM Facebook and YouTube Live. In the first watch today, reactions to the pending rollout of new and renewed banknotes in Jamaica. In the second watch, beating the back-to-school blues. For our social media question, we ask, what was your first reaction to the new look Jamaican bank notes? Please share your responses on our Love 101 FM Facebook page and the YouTube channel, and also on WhatsApp 876-997-3125 using the hashtag The Morning Watch. We'll share your responses later on in the program, but before all of that, here's I quote.
All right, I quote for this morning. It's hard to beat a person who never gives up. Babe Ruth. Good morning, sir.
Hi, good morning, Roshane. Interesting quotation there. It's hard to beat a person who never gives up.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So that's it there.
Right. How has the morning been for you so far?
Well, it has been a busy morning, Don't get a break. I've been thus, floating and doing my thing, flowing down to me.
Floating, Roshane?
Yeah, because I am in studio, out of studio, in the kitchen, around there, everywhere. I've been just all over the place this morning, but I'm still here.
All right, multitasking. All right. The first watch will be back in just a moment.
All right, this is the Morning Watch. Stay tuned.
Let's flow. Data from the mobile app somewhere yeah. Flow is the way I gotta go, yeah. Face it, grab it, tweet it, snap it, tune it, or WhatsApp it. You got it? No, Spotify and the rhythm of your life. TikTok to the world that we are enjoying. Flow is the way to go.
Flow turns up the app. Now your unlimited talk and social plan comes with data for all the apps you really want, including TikTok and Spotify. Get a 7-day plan for only $725. Dial *129*6 to activate. Conditions apply.
JN Money Card. Send the money. More want withdraw in a hurry. JN Money Card free. With your TRN and your ID. And when I walk with cash, me just swipe like that. From abroad to card. Get the JN Money Card. It's safe, convenient, and free. JN Money Card sent from abroad. JN Money Card.
Available at JN Money locations across Jamaica. Conditions apply.
The Ratry Evangelistic Association, in partnership with the Ministers Fraternal in St. Catherine, is hosting its St. Catherine Virtual Crusade, Sunday, March 20 through to Sunday, March 27, 7:30 to 9 o'clock each evening, under the theme, Choose Christ in the Crisis with speakers Reverend Dr. Peter Garth, Bishop Delford Davis, Bishop Rowan Edwards, and Reverend Dexter Johnson. Listen for the Youth Rally Friday, March 25 at 7:30 p.m. The Children's Rally is on Saturday, March 26 from 12:30 to 1 p.m.
Listen for Through the Bible with Love, brought to you by the Open Bible Standard Churches of Jamaica at 6:50 p.m. Monday to Wednesday, and Leading the Way with Dr. Michael Youssef at 7 p.m. Then on Thursday, March 24 to Sunday, March 27, listen for Through the Bible with Love at 7:15 p.m.
Catch the broadcast on Love 101 Facebook page and right here on the family station, Love 101.
It's Love 101 FM, the family station. Just a quick announcement from our friends over there at Sagicor. The Sagicor Sigma Corporate Team Bubble Run was on Sunday. Yes, it was on Sunday, March 13. And what a time it was in the streets there of New Kingston and around Aftertree. Of course, there was road closure and traffic advisories, and that's going to be for this week as well. However, you can still be in the runnings if you are fully vaccinated and previously ran under 45 minutes. You can register for the Sigma Invitational Run. That will be this Sunday. So it hits the streets this Sunday, March 20 in New Kingston. You can also register for the virtual run anytime up to March 31. Go to SagicorSigmaRun.com to register right now. This is Love 101, the family station.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. Now, some declared them pretty like a rainbow. Others considered the move to be confusing, and still others are in shock for various reasons. All this in reaction to the pending rollout of new and renewed banknotes in Jamaica to coincide with the country's 60th independence celebration. And hence the focus this morning, in our first watch. And then we are going to address these and other related issues. And we have online Dr. Andre Horton, Senior Lecturer in the Department of Economics, UWI, and Mr. Donovan Wignell, President of the Micro, Small, and Medium Enterprise Alliance. Good morning to you both.
Good morning, Toussaint.
Morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning.
Morning, Dr. Horton.
Morning, Donovan. How's everything? Blessings.
Everything good, Long time.
Yeah. It's been a while. It's been a while.
All right.
Yes. I've heard you in a minute.
All right, gentlemen. Good to have you both. All right. Let me just begin by asking, what are your opening thoughts on the pending rollout of the new and renewed banknotes in Jamaica? Just your opening thoughts. First with you, Dr. Horton.
Yeah, morning, guys. Morning, everyone. Now, from my understanding, what I'm learning is that the country needed a new $2,000 bill in order to allow the ease of transactions between parties. And that came from the Bank of Jamaica's recommendations. But what we're seeing is that the entire money facelift is taking place. What is happening is that the old notes that we had before, they were sort of made from cotton, and what we're seeing is that over the world, many countries have been moving away from just using the cotton material to make their notes and to move into the polymer type of material that is more durable. For me, it's neither here nor there. What is happening now is that these new currencies, they had to be printed. So, and it's also a tool that the government uses to print new money to put into the economy. Now, new monies are always needed from time to time. As time progresses, new monies are always needed. And the idea is that what they're doing is coinciding with the 60th anniversary. Um, is it now in an inflationary period when other global geopolitical occurrences are contributing to inflation, the increase in oil prices globally, the shortage in commodities, which has also increased their prices, the fiscal stimulus packages that took place in America that really set inflation on an upward trajectory. All these events are contributing to increase in prices, plus the increase in new monies being printed. If Jamaica does not improve its productivity levels, then these new monies coming into the economy will also have some level of inflationary effect. So there are a lot of things for us to take into consideration. But what I assume is that because we are moving into the 60th year, then they are doing it to coincide with the value. Whether it's done this year or it's done 5 years down the line, it has to do with the time value of money. So if we could have delayed this for some time, get the economy restructured, and then implement the new currencies, then that would be better, in my opinion. But because I know that in certain instances, the government, they need to print money and need clever ways in order to introduce it, because we need more money for the velocity to satisfy transactions. So it's a catch-22.
Yeah. All right. Mr. Wignell, your opening thoughts?
Well, it means different things to different people. If you're a bank and most banks have ATMs, then it means a more efficient means to dispense different denomination of notes. If you are a businessman, it means that you have a wider variety of notes to dispense, and it as a person on the road using the different types of notes. I'd rather have $2,000 note and a $1,000 note instead of having a $5,000 note. So it makes my transactions more secure. If I want to carry less paper, then I'll use the bigger notes. If I want to transact business in a particular way, in terms of making change and all that, for businessmen, it means, it means different things to different people, as I said. The whole coinciding with Jamaica 60, the more durable notes mean that the notes are more durable, it lasting 5 years instead of what we have now. The new security features on the notes, then these new notes are gonna be like if you ever see an English pound note, you'll see, it's more plastic and it's more secure, harder to counterfeit. So, I mean, for the most part, it's a plus. If you're a political person, you would probably interpret it as, getting Mr. Siaga on the note. But there's not Mr. Siaga alone. You have Michael Manley on there as well. So, really and truly, it's neither here nor there. I think there's more benefits to it than disadvantages. So, it's neither here nor there. I think money to the economy, as Dr. Horton says, the economist, is something that governments do from time to time. But for me, it's not cosmetic. It has practical applications, and that it's probably not a bad idea. The economy in general, when you look at it, the issuance of the notes really and truly is neither here nor there, but it presents more advantages than disadvantages.
Okay. Ms. Dr. Horton, before we go to break, can you tell us quickly what usually precipitates and necessitates the infusion of more notes into the economy?
Yeah, there are several factors that would drive the need for more banknotes. One which the BOJ highlighted is the need for ease of transactions. What they're realizing is that the gap between the 1,000 and the 5,000 was too large, and that allowed a lot of price discrepancies when people were making their valid decisions. And so they had to intervene. Think about it like if you have a $10 US and a $50 US, there's a $20 US in between that to allow the smooth flow of transactions with the US currency. And as a matter of fact, notice that when you're traveling and you go to the bank, it is the $20 US that you normally get most of your notes in.
Well, tell you what, Dr. Horton, we are up on a break. Could you just hold that thought? We'll be right back.
Okay.
Plus, Lasco Mackerel. Get hooked on the tastiest mackerel around. The time by Lasco Mackerel is
15 minutes after 7 o'clock. Stay tuned, my friends. We'll be right back.
Get your business going with a DBJ Serve loan. Utilize a DBJ recovery line of credit to grow your business or a Go Digital loan to digitize your operations. Borrow up to 800,000 Jamaican dollars with a Go Digital loan or get a line of credit for up to $10 million. Contact us today, 888-438-5627, WhatsApp 876-295-1298, and follow at JN Bank on social media.
Conditions apply.
JN Bank Small Business Loans. We'll help you find a way.
Every day I get bigger, every day I get better. I'm a star in that shimmer. Watch me grow, I'm a winner, yeah. Every step that I take, oh yeah. Feeling great cause I'm learning, yeah. I'm a star in that shimmer. Watch me grow, I'm a winner, yeah. La 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 la. Watch me grow with Alexa Plus.
Help support their mental development at this important stage with a unique combination of nutrients from Lacta Plus. This product is not intended to be a substitute for breast milk.
So what you doing for Lent?
Grace say fish for Lent, so is that me doing? Me can't eat healthier. I don't have to scale one fish. They make all the fish I want in different flavor and style. Plus canned fish more reasonable.
Attention shoppers! Buy Grace Mackerel, Grace Sardines, and Grace Tuna. It's the healthy, easier, and more affordable choice for Lent.
Hold my spot in the line. I'm gonna pick up some more Grace Mackerel and Grace Sardine, yeah?
Grace has your fish for Lent. Value deals in participating stores.
I did a crazy attack. You see me is a real G, real go-getter. My life moves non-stop. So me have to stay link and flow yard and road. My connect and one plan link me up at home with Wi-Fi and on my mobile with data and calls to any network. At my yard, non-stop streaming my vibes. I studying for my pitney them and out the road and non-stop vibes. Same way. Flow connect me non-stop for as little as $3,999 a month plus GCT. I forget it. Visit discoverflow.co. Conditions apply.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. And in this, the first watch, we are, trying to get reactions to the pending rollout of the new and renewed banknotes in Jamaica. And we have online Dr. Andre Horton, Senior Lecturer in the Department of Economics, UWI, and Mr. Donovan Wignell, President of the Micro, Small, and Medium Enterprise Alliance. Dr. Horton, before the break, you were explaining to us what usually necessitates the infusion of these new banknotes.
Yes, so that's one reason when you need a new denomination of note. So you need a $2,000 note in order to fill that gap between the distance between the smaller note and the larger note. Another rationale for the introduction of new notes is the durability of the notes, and if it was the case that the notes were easily counterfeited, and we realized that many times when I go to the shop with a $5,000 note, especially, it goes under extreme scrutiny. The cashier, she's holding up in the light, she's using a pen to draw on it, and so on and so forth, which means that a lot of people have been facing tremendous challenges with counterfeiting. And I've seen some videos as well where some people are getting what we call goosed with the counterfeit notes. They go to collect money and several counterfeit notes are slipped in their pile. And this has been going on for quite some time. So that also contributes to the government's will to create new notes. And I think that these new notes with the additional security features that they now will be in a position to be able to better service the economy and to be less counterfeitable.
Yeah, the $2,000 banknote seems to have raised a lot of concerns within the public. What's your take on it, Dr. Horton, in that regard? Is it necessary? Why not $3,000? Why not?
Yeah, man. So as I was saying, so look at it this way: you have a U.S. currency, you have a $10 that would probably be assume the exchange rate was 100 to 1. So you have a $10 that would correspond to our $1,000 bill. You also have $50 that would correspond to our $5,000 bill. Now, if the 100 to 1, then America, they have something in between to ease the transactions. So I think that having something between also would assist to ease our transactions if we look at it that way.
Yeah. And Mr. Wignell, your members of your organization, what have you been picking up in terms of their views on it?
I think it's something exogenous to whatever else is going on in the economy. It's not a big deal. As a matter of fact, it presents a greater level of convenience in transacting businesses on a day-to-day basis. So
it's more positive from your end in terms of your members of your organization?
Yeah, absolutely. It's neither here nor there. And it's good to see two all very strong rivals on a note. Michael Manley and Edward Siaga. And I mean, finding a convenient way to place our heroes on the notes, which we have started to do a long time ago, is always it cannot be a bad thing. Politically, it's gonna be who done it, who did it and who's gonna take the credit to do it. But I mean, generally, I'm saying it's neither here nor there. It's more positive than negative. We have more serious things in the economy to deal with. We have the inflation situation that we have to deal with. We have our level of productivity, which we need to ramp up to counter inflation. And I think it's a brilliant point raised by Dr. Ann that at the end of the day, we need to raise our GDP. And, in both, but in the three presentations I've heard, I probably only heard reference to the reduction of duties on unproductive equipment to cause people who are in productive ventures to acquire equipment to set up new factories, to employ more people, to get more activity in the base of the economy. So my most important, to do as far as the economy is concerned right now is not, it really and truly, the new notes is neither here nor there. It's finding ways to ramp up productivity.
I laugh. I laugh, Mr. Wignell. I think you said neither here nor there at least 5 times in the discussion so far.
Yeah, it's not a big deal.
Yeah. Dr. Horton, Mr. Wignell mentioned all the whole matter, the faces on the $2,000 note. What's your take on that?
Yeah, I think it's neither here nor there for me as well. when you look at it, Michael Manley played a significant role in the advancement of our economy and our advancement of our people. But so did Mr. Siaga. As a matter of fact, Mr. Siaga was more financially inclined than Mr. Manley was throughout his time. So even our exchange rate, he was able to maintain our exchange rate at a very low level. As it relates to the productivity of our economy, it was last night that I was looking at our productivity growth over the last 70 years from 1950. And we experienced high productivity growth from 1950 until 1969. 1970, and throughout the 70s, our productivity growth took a downward trend, meaning that output per person fell from about $30,000 US per person in 1969 when Jamaica had high productivity growth to about less than 20,000 per person by 19 call it fell way down by 1980-81, and it was 85 when Jamaica reverted its productivity trajectory and it started increasing again, you know. Mr. Seaga was also responsible for the establishment of the Jamaica Stock Exchange, which was really important in terms of providing financial capital for a lot of businesses who needed an impetus, and also it provided investment streams for a lot of people. So the idea that he also contributed to the financial base of the economy, establishing of financial institutions that would assist in the broadening of our investment base and the development of our financial side of our economy, then I think this should not be a case where we are saying, okay, one or the other. I mean, both men and their families, I think, based on what the Minister of Finance said, agreed for them to be on the same note. So we as outsiders and strangers, if we cannot appreciate the fact that in life they were rivals, but in death we're putting them together monumentously on a single bill, then
it's okay.
What we're trying to show is that the political divide that normally exists between two groups of people can be minimized if their leaders decide to come together. So I'm looking at it from a different angle. I'm not a conflict type person. I'm a unified person. If someone has contributed in any particular way, then I think they too should be recognized for their contribution without bias, you know.
Thanks, Doc. Let me bring in Mr. Wignell. Mr. Wignell, there are those who argue that the national icons like Miss Lou and Bob Marley should be on those notes as well. What's your take on that?
There'll be time for those. Well said, by the way, Dr. Well said. I think there'll be time enough. As time go on, there's still enough space between the 2,000 and the 5,000. So in time to come, I say Bob Marley and Miss Lou on a note at some point in time. They are also very serious, very important cultural icons, not just locally, but internationally. So as time move on, I think, you know, that can be addressed. But I think as it is now, there are very much more important issues afoot where, you know, this is a wartime budget. And I think the whole mentioning of, you know, I think it was in the leader of the opposition presentation yesterday saying that, you know, $40 billion could have been, if the government spent 2% of the budget, then $40 billion could be released to deal with the issues brought on by the inflation and the, you know, the inflationary effects of the logistics, inflationary effects of the rate of exchange, inflationary effects of the war, and some of the issues that would have contributed to inflation mentioned by Andre earlier. I think those are some of the issues that we need to look at. We need to look at low-income housing for our population. If you see what is happening now, I don't know when the everyday worker who is getting the living wage that they're referring to is going to be able to afford somewhere to live. So I think the issues, you know, not just living wage, but living issues now need to be addressed. And as the dialogue continues, as it evolve into a conversation to see how best we can prepare the base of the population to navigate what are going to be trying times brought on by the geopolitical tensions, brought on by the effects of coronavirus, our education system, or how people are going to afford education. We see people going all the way to Ukraine to study to be doctors when we look at 1 year of study the cost of 1 year of study in the cost of the entire tuition, there were 5 or 7 years of study in Ukraine is equivalent to 1 year of study in Jamaica. Those are some of the things that I think we need to address, making education more affordable, etc.
We have to leave it there. I want to thank you both for joining us, gentlemen. And I guess the theme of our discussion is neither here nor there.
That has to be the team when you have more pressing issues at hand.
Absolutely.
Inflation skyrocketing. You have productivity challenges, output challenges, growth challenges, developmental challenges.
Thanks, Andre. We got to go. Have a good day.
Now with no processing fees and no down payment, it's time to open the door to your own sweet home. The time by JN Bank is...
It is now 7:30, approaching 7:31, right here on the Family Station Love 101. We'll be right back on the Morning Watch.
Suzuki, I give you deals on deals. Buy any Suzuki where you like, any type, and get a lot of value with your brand new wheels. I just deals on top of deals on top of deals. Suzuki, I give you deals on deals. So here's the deal. From now until April 8th, buy a Vitara, Baleno, Carry Pickup, XS7, or any other Suzuki and get 5 years warranty, 2 years free servicing, 1 year of free insurance and gas, or $200,000 cash back plus more. No, that's a deal. Follow Suzuki Jamaica for more details. Conditions apply. Suzuki, I give you deals on deals.
Protect what matters most with Benjamins. Let us help you stay safe and prevent the spread of viruses with our Benjamins hand sanitizer, soap, wipes, and rubbing alcohol. Or if you're already under the weather, try our Benjamins Relief line of products. You'll find relief for symptoms such as a cough, cold, fever, or the flu. Because we're always in your corner. Benjamins, a trusted name for over a century.
Blue side, more vibe, let's flow. Data from the mobile app somewhere you know. Yeah, flow is the way you gotta go. Yeah, face it, grab it, tweet it, snap it, tune it or WhatsApp it. You got it? No, Spotify and the rhythm of your life. TikTok to the world that we are enjoying. Flow is the way to go.
Flow turns up the app. Now your unlimited talk and social plan comes with data for all the apps you really want, including TikTok and Spotify. Get a 7-day plan for only $725. Dial *129*6 to activate. Conditions apply.
The following is a message from the Ministry of Tourism.
Without a doubt, tourism is Jamaica's #1 industry, and our dedicated workers are its greatest asset. Jamaica would not be the heartbeat of the world without you. As the industry rebounds from the impact of COVID-19 pandemic, we truly need all hands on deck, yours included. Vaccination holds the hope for tourism's full recovery. In addition to COVID-19 protocols, it is the only comprehensive way to fight the pandemic and save lives. I am therefore urging every worker in the tourism and hospitality industry, in all the subsectors, including accommodation, attraction, entertainment, transportation, and craft, to do your part and get vaccinated. Do it for yourself, your family, your workplace, and your community. Do it for Jamaica, land we love. Stay safe, get vaccinated.
The preceding message was brought to you by the Ministry of Tourism.
Welcome back. You're tuned in to the Morning Watch. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. Let's look at the newspapers to see what Jamaicans and others are saying and doing. In the Observer, fix for firearms folly. Chang removes security ministry from gun licensing process. We also see in the Observer, EU hits Russia with more sanctions from trade to truffles. And we also see in the Observer, good move. Chief Justice says proposed 15-year sentence for illegal firearms possession quite rational and reasonable. In the Gleaner, Ward hospitalized after prison suicide attempt. And then UWI St. Augustine warns of tuition hike. And we see also that COP wants more community-based approach to fighting crime. Those are some of the major stories in our newspapers. Coming up next, we'll read some of the feedback from our social media question. What was your first reaction to the new and new look Jamaican bank notes? Please leave a comment on our Facebook page and YouTube channel, Love 101 FM Jamaica, or WhatsApp 876-997-3125. Soon come back.
He knows my name.
Here is your opportunity to connect with someone who will listen, pray, and give guidance. It's the telephone counseling ministry of the Edgewater Baptist Church. Please call 876-220-6474. Weekdays between 8 a.m. and 9 p.m. and Sundays between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. Please talk to someone if you're finding it particularly challenging to cope during this period of global crisis. Someone is waiting for your call. Please reach out today. 876-220-6474. It's the telephone counseling ministry of the Edgewater Baptist Church.
This is a reminder that somebody cares. Endorsed by Love 101.
He knows my name.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. Let's now join Roshane for a look at how our Facebook, YouTube, and WhatsApp friends answered today's question.
All right.
What was your first reaction to the new and new look Jamaican bank notes? Roshane.
All right, Dr. Toussaint. All right, Tracy from Odawa said they are the ugliest thing ever. It looks like a play of money. So she basically say it's a waste. Another person here saying no problem with the new look, but our money still has no value. No problem with whose faces are on them. It will make transactions easier, and it's high time partisan politics must be abolished, done away with in Jamaica. As long as I live, I will never forget 1980 election. And also this one says concentrate on moving forward, doing better and production for all Jamaican citizens. And I think I saw another one. Another one says good morning. New notes, better quality notes, a collaboration of our national heroes is satisfying to me, but I would be very happy if our money could have more value. So that our economy can be better whenever I spend these notes. I don't have an headache, or I have a headache, I should say rather. Sorry. Go ahead.
All right, a mouthful there.
No, pretty notes, but no value. That's what they're basically saying.
Yeah. And I think it's reasonable what is being said. Thank you. Thanks to those who responded to the question. All right, it's been 2 years. 2 years. But full-time face-to-face classes are now back. Yesterday, in a report entitled School Blues, the Jamaica Observer highlighted the fact that not all students are excited or remain excited about returning to school. What's that all about? And why is that so? How should that be efficiently and effectively dealt with? Well, to answer these and other related questions, we have joining us. This is Tracy Ann Taft Thompson, President of the Jamaica Association of Guidance Counselors in Education, and she's a guidance counselor at the St. Aloysius Primary School. and Mr. Linvern Wright, President of Jamaica Association of Principals and also Principal of the William Knibb High School. Good morning to you both.
Good morning. I hope you're hearing me.
Yes, hearing you. Mrs. Taft Thompson.
Good morning, Mrs. Thompson.
Mrs. Taft Thompson. All right, not hearing her as yet. Okay, Mr. Wright, until we have her on, before we delve into the meat of our discussion, what is your perspective and experience in terms of the full reopening of schools, especially after the 2-year break?
Well, I mean, if I were to express it in terms of a feeling, I'm really happy. I'm happy for teachers because I think the level of stress there was in trying to reach students who really couldn't be reached was something that really affected many of us. I'm even more happy for the students because I think that there are many of them, especially those who never had the means to get online, who have been for 2 years deprived of any access to any kind of instruction. And then there are those whose access was not totally denied, but very much disrupted because of the unreliable nature of the online platforms and the data that many of them would have had, or the connectivity. So in terms of that, if I were to speak of what is at the forefront of what I'm thinking about things, I'm really happy that the students are back and that we can get to engage them. The attendance issues in relation to having them back and planning for them are things that many of us anticipated. I don't know if the capacity to deal with them is as we would want, but I think we just have to continue to work to ensure that we get things, to where they had been prior to now.
Yeah. I gather that Mrs. Taft Thompson is on. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes.
Good morning, Mr. Thompson. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, good to have you. We're just trying to ascertain your initial response in terms of the fact that the schools have reopened fully. What's your take on that? What are your thoughts on that after 2 years?
All right, after 2 years, we expect a lot of emotions swirling around the school environment. And the students are happy to be back. Well, initially they were happy to be back. But being in a structured setting, once more, I think it has caused some emotional distresses. And insecurities as well, because they have academic insecurities as well as social insecurities. So we have to really bear those in mind. And my challenge is having all the students returning at the same time, and the emotional state of each stakeholder is not at its best or at its highest. So you find that teachers have been affected by the pandemic and they are going through their emotional state, and the students and the parents. So it is one of concern where we have to know or spread the word of applying emotional intelligence. Every stakeholder has to be understanding of the other person and, look out for the other person. The students, they have a part to play. The teachers have a part to play. The parents and the administration, they have a part to play in order to, have us being more emotionally stable or balanced.
Yes, you mentioned Mrs. Taft Thompson about them returning at the same time. Would you have wanted a staggered return? Say more on that, please.
I would have suggested a staggered return. One in which we can phase the students back into the structure. Currently, the government schools, they're overcrowded, the classes. And it's almost as if you're shocking the students.
Oh?
Yes, because remember, they have some of them, especially the grade 7 and 8, they have been transitioning from primary school, the primary level, to high school. Some are used to a certain number of students, and then to be put in an environment where they are meeting new persons while at the same time being instructed to catch up academically. They are asked to focus and to do work. But it's two things that they're on, two pressures that they will be facing: the academic pressure as well as the social pressure. There are the older high school students who can adapt because their focus really, they already know their classmates.
Oh, tell you what, Mrs. Staff Thompson, we're up on a break. Could you hold that thought? We'll be right back.
Sure.
Daddy, when we're going home, I'm bored.
Oh, my daughter, you can use my brother data and watch some YouTube or something else.
Really, Daddy? I can watch my favorite shows right now, but what if the data done?
You know that the data can't done on my Digicel Prime Brata bundle.
OMG, thanks, Daddy. Look, there's a new episode. Let me watch it now.
Enjoy your favorite apps anywhere you're there with data with a Digicel Prime Brata bundle. Dial star 147 number sign from your Digicel phone to activate today. Digicel, made in Jamaica.
There are a million reasons to want to own a home.
I want more space for the children.
I am tired of paying rent. My wife and I want an investment. Go from future plans to keys in hand with an NCB mortgage. Get rates as low as 6.95%, 100% financing, and up to 40 years to repay. Plus, get the life insurance and home insurance you need all in one place. Visit myhome.jncb.com to get started. Conditions apply.
You work hard to make Jamaica a first-class destination. Isn't it time you receive the 5-star benefits? Retire smarter with the Tourism Workers Pension Scheme, a portable plan that also provides your family with financial security in case of your untimely death. It's easy, affordable, and accessible online. Retire and relax with the Tourism Workers Pension Scheme. Visit twps.myguardiangroup.com or call 876-927-4105. Guardian Life. Live secure. Live easy.
The following is a message from the Ministry of Tourism.
Without a doubt, tourism is Jamaica's #1 industry, and our dedicated workers are its greatest asset. Jamaica would not be the heartbeat of the world without you. As the industry rebounds from the impact of COVID-19 pandemic, we truly need all hands on deck, yours included. Vaccination holds the hope for tourism's full recovery. In addition to COVID-19 protocols, it is the only comprehensive way to fight the pandemic and save lives. I am therefore urging every worker in the tourism and hospitality industry, in all the subsectors, including accommodation, attraction, entertainment, transportation, and craft, to do your part and get vaccinated. Do it for yourself, your family, your workplace, and your community. Do it for Jamaica, land we love. Stay safe. Get vaccinated.
The preceding message was brought to you by the Ministry of Tourism.
From generation to generation, Jamaicans have depended on J&B Bank to make the pride and joy of providing a safe place for their families possible. Now, with no processing fees and no down payment mortgage options, you can open the door to your own sweet home, a legacy to hand to your next generation. Visit jnbank.com to get pre-approved today. J&B Bank will help you find a way.
Okay, welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint, and in this, the second half of the second watch, we continue to discuss the whole matter of the back-to-school blues. We have online Mr. Linvern Wright, President of the Principals Association of Jamaica, and Mrs. Tracy Ann Taft Thompson, President of Jamaica Association of Guidance Counselors. Mrs. Taft Thompson, before the break, you shocked us with the statement that you were shocking the students with how this return was done. Say more on that, please.
All right. So as I was saying before, we should be phasing them in because mentally or psychologically, they're adjusting to the newness. Returning in a fulsome way is new. So we should have really phased them in, having them come in or staggering them more frequently throughout the week, and then having a full reopening. The students, and those students most affected would be the grades 7, 8, and possibly 9 students. The grade 9 did not complete the full year. And they have to make adjustments. And the demands that they are facing now, it's a lot. So that is causing another set of pressure.
Let me see if I can get some response from Mr. Wright in that regard. What's your take on that, Mr. Wright? We're shocking the students?
Well, yeah, and I don't know how we could have avoided it. We could have minimized it because I think what was an imperative for the ministry was getting back to normal in terms of perception, and I think that kind of narrative was something that was out there in a huge way. I think there could have been maybe more consultations, maybe the guidance councils in relation to things like that, because I think we really were looking more at getting them back together academically. But the way learning works and the way school works, the emotional is important, the psychological is important, and I think what we have to learn from now is that the conversation has to be broader, the consultation has to be genuine, and it has to be inclusive, to get the voices in to say, okay, how do we do this? So although we have lost a lot in terms of learning, how do we ensure that things such as the emotional side, the social side, how students and teachers adapt to the whole thing, phasing in is something that we could do. So I take that from Mr. Thompson. I think it's something that we just have to learn from.
And as you mentioned, Mr. Wright, the whole matter of teachers, what about your teachers and staff members? How have they been coping with this back to school blues, this return? How has it been for them?
I think good under the circumstances, what you really try to do in management now is try to minimize any kind of thing that's disruptive. And I think many principals try to do that. I think sometimes we can get ahead of ourselves really trying to go back to normal. And I think that we just have to understand something.
A new normal. It's a new normal.
Right. But also talking about pre-2020, pre-March 2020 norms are things that we have to be careful about, because you really could pressure teachers and students in the way the president of the Guidance Counseling Association is saying. So I just think in management you have to be gradual, you have to be caring, you have to be comprehensive in how you think about all the factors and how they are going to affect individuals. And so for me, it is about that. I prefer to do too little on the side of caution and to try to do too much on frustration. I think now is a good time to really phase things in, and even if everybody is back, but in terms of even the kind of administrative work you'll ask of teachers, the kind of expectations we'll have of students, how we conduct exams, how we do all of these things. I think that we have to look at to ensure that the expectations of students are not so much that they actually become deterrents to their functioning in the future.
Yeah. Mrs. Thompson, what should we look for, parents, guardians, in regards to the back to school blues of children? What are some of the telltale signs, symptoms that they're going through that?
All right, what we should be looking out for as caregivers are children whose behavioral patterns have changed. They're more withdrawn. They may be more, and this is what to understand the withdrawn. During the pandemic, some students have not been online and educationally engaged as we would like. So they have formed addictions to the social media, the various social media platforms. They have become addicted to gaming as well. And I would like to add right here that we really have to pay a lot of attention to our boys. They are tactile. And so, them being online, they have resorted to gaming, many of them. So we as educators too, we have to see how best we can incorporate what they have been doing online in the new physical space. So in terms of virtual aids. They were used to now being online with videos and that kind of graphics or teaching aids. We have to still try and incorporate some of that into their learning. So, and that is a way of phasing them in to the, the regularity, for the lack of a better word. So school administrators too will still have to look at having internet connectivity in order to allow the teachers that medium to use.
Yes.
So right now, parents just need to look out for changes in terms of being withdrawn and just being isolated, right? And some might be very talkative. And also remember, during the pandemic, some students have lost relatives. How many relatives have they lost from their
Yes.
you know, so, and they are grieving. And on top of that, I don't want to jump too much into it, but on top of that, the teachers too have experienced loss and grieving. They have hear everybody. And that is why it is critical that we emphasize the need for working together, understanding each other. And as my colleague has said, not be so quick to jump to returning to what happened or the ways we operated in 2019 and before. We have to find new ways of adapting and not, stressing ourselves. Sometimes we demand too much of ourselves and also demand too much of the stakeholders.
Yeah, Mr. Wright, anything you want to add to that? What have you been observing?
Well, more what I want to say in relation to into some of these things, because I think sometimes with these things we can get to a point. I think we were at a point where many of us really had wanted to be back. And I think one of the big things now is adaptability. The fact is that many of the things that are coming are things that we anticipated but maybe never had the capacity to deal with because of resources and because of even our own, sometimes our own competence, because even things like teaching with some of these technical stuff are things that many teachers are not used to. It's a matter of, as I said, being patient. But I want us also to understand that the world is not waiting on us, right? There are places that are moving on, and our children are going to have to function in these spaces just the same. And what we have to do is to ensure that we, see how best we can adapt in order to help them when they get on, because the stresses of adulthood can be horrible if it is that you don't have a skill, if it is that you never learned much, if it is that because of the gaps that came about as a result of this pandemic, we never did what we had to do. So I think those of us in the system, the adults in the system, the professionals in the system, we have got to see how much more it may be a tough thing. We can adapt ourselves to ensure that we are ahead of the game so that we can help these children, because the fact is that it is going to be tough for them, and how tough it is or how easy it is for them will depend on how we have adapted to actually help them. To be enablers for them, to be agents for them, to help them to really transition into what is a difficult time, and see how best we can ensure that they use what it is we're doing now as a stepping stone to help them to manage later on.
Yes. Final thoughts, Mrs. Taft Thompson, half a minute.
I would just like to close by saying we really have to be flexible and adaptable. That's it. All the stakeholders, we just have to be understanding of each other and be flexible so that, as Mr. Wright said, we are not left behind, academically or socially. We need to just keep binding or bonding together, sticking together to ensure that we maximize all opportunities that we're presented with.
All right, Mr. Wright, final thoughts?
Yes, sir.
Half a minute.
Well, just to charge teachers, students, parents, as Mr. Thompson is saying, we cooperated with each other. Sometimes we can really be so tough on each other at this time, and because of how sometimes we really want to get back to normal. But you just have to understand that normal now is adaptability. It is caring. It is understanding each other and working together. That's what normal is right now in my mind.
Right.
Yes. Well, best wishes to both of you as you continue to lead in regards to the education of the society. Have a good day.
Thank you very much. Good.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Bless you. Thank you, listeners, for being with us. Join us again tomorrow as we continue to set the stage for a discussion of topical and controversial issues. For information on how to get copies of this program, call our production department at 876-968-959627. This has been the Morning Watch. Thanks to our producer, Miss Kathy Gale, and our guests. I'm Dylan Toussaint, giving a shout out to the pastor and members of the Kingston Open Bible Church as I hand you back to Love in the Morning with Roshane Douglas.
Thank you, Dr. Toussaint. Have a great day now.
You too, Roshane.
All right. Make the time 8 o'clock right here on the family station Love 101. It's now time for Ford and Faith. Ford and Faith.